All right, now to Frank Luntz. We're waiting to hear from Harry Reid, who's due to address his supporters very soon. And Frank, there's got to be something about Harry, because I've heard this before in prior races. He just pulls it out, and he pulled it out.
Yeah, but it's more than just his effort. The advertising campaign that he initiated was one of the most effective. And, Neil, the assumption is that no Democrats ran on health care when, in fact, Harry Reid did. And one of the most effective ads, and I'm going to be showing it tomorrow night on Fox News, was one where he talked about health care.
Wait a minute. Which show on Fox News are you showing it?
I'd love to show it on yours, but I don't think you invited me tomorrow. So it'll be on another Fox News program.
What a vindictive little guy. Okay, go ahead.
And it ended up, you've been the best, Neil, and thank you for hanging in there so long this evening. We talked about the individual benefits of health care, how it helped over 50,000 seniors in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and it was a very powerful impact. Reid's campaign, and it was done by the same people who did Obama's, was absolutely pitch perfect for those swing voters in Nevada, so I'm really not surprised that he did as well as he did.
Again, I've asked this, smart people, I'll ask of you. Barack Obama could do the Bill Clinton thing. Most people say it's not in his temperament or DNA to do that. Or I guess he could do the Harry Truman thing and make Democrats like they're up against this battle of right versus might and the do-nothing Republican Congress. The only problem with that is it's not an entirely Republican Congress. It's still a Democratic Senate. So what does he do?
Well, let's first look at what the American people meant today, because I'm hoping that the president was paying attention. This was not a failure in communication from the Obama administration. It was a failure in policy. The American people said no to bailouts. They said no to the stimulus, no to cap and trade, no to health care, a government takeover of health care. And the question is whether the president got the message or not. In the survey that we did for Freedom Works, so we finished yesterday, these people who came out and voted are not going away. They're more engaged in the political process, more likely to volunteer, more likely to email their congressman. And I promise you, Neil, that they are more engaged than the average Republican or the average Democrat. So Obama has to look at these voters and say, if I don't find some way to relate to them, they're going to do to me exactly what they did to Nancy Pelosi. And I think that the scariest, the person most afraid right now in America is President Obama, because of the message that he should be getting from this election.
Well, if he's reacting to this sort of like, I don't know, I'm thinking of the old Bugs Bunny, Yosemite Sam. You know, they're always fighting with each other and all this. And it finally dawns on him that Bugs Bunny is smarter. And I don't know whether it will be Barack Obama or Republicans who will be playing the Bugs Bunny or Yosemite Sam role. But I'm wondering if the president takes some of the prior messages that he ignored, like the races in Massachusetts and Virginia and all. And this time, like an anvil on his head, he responds to this one.
I don't see that he has a choice. The American people voted quite clearly no more deficit spending. They voted quite clearly, hold Washington accountable. They voted quite clearly, where did all this money go? I want to know, and the people who wasted it should be held responsible. The biggest challenge here is actually not Barack Obama. It's the Republicans in the House. They're going to have to, in those first 100 days, put forward a very specific agenda that allows the American people the feeling, the right to be heard, the right to know, and the right to hold their elected officials accountable. Even if Barack Obama doesn't do it, it's up to the Republicans to make that happen. That's how they get reelected in 2012. Neil, if they fail to do that, then what happened in 2010 will happen in the opposite 2 years from now.
That lately has been the swing in history. I do want to draw your attention to what's happening in Alaska. These are the earliest, of results. But write-in is winning thus far. Now, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that all those write-in ballots are spelling Lisa Murkowski's name correctly, the incumbent senator running as an independent, because she lost the party nomination to Tea Party and Governor Palin-backed candidate Joe Miller. But she seems to be leading in that write-in effort with, a quarter of the precincts coming in. What do you think of that?
There's a level of sophistication in Alaska that people forget because it's not part of the lower 48, and so they don't really know what's going on up there. But Alaska voters take their elections, take their democracy very seriously. They're willing to stand in line for a long time for the right to vote. They're great citizens because they appreciate that opportunity to express their point of view. And in this case, they're actually saying no. Because Murkowski was thrown out in the primary, in essence, they're saying no to the conservative establishment by seeming to vote for her. I got to admit, I never would have expected this to happen. But in this election cycle, we've seen so many things that we didn't expect to happen. So many House seats, so many people who've been in Washington for decades being turned out, committee chairmen being turned out, that at this point, Neil, nothing would surprise me except that in an election night broadcast, we'd be talking about Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam. That surprises me more than anything else.
I am pop culture. I am so pop culture. It chases me everywhere I go. Frank, thank you very, very much. Good read on all of this.